IGP directs CID to take over investigations into attack on Nimos team at Shidim, allegedly involving Esutufi North MP.
Also, we're in the eastern region where uneasy calm continues to be in Nkawkaw in the Kwawu West municipality following youth clashes leaving one person dead.
And later in this broadcast, rice farmers across the country say the influx of foreign rice is undercutting their sales and making business less competitive. Our big stories this hour. Welcome to a brand new week of News Central. I'm Kemini Amanor.
And I am Mawuena Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now. This afternoon, the Inspector General of Police, Christian Techeyohunu, has directed the Criminal Investigations Department, CID, to take over investigations into the attack of the Director of Operations of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, Nimos, and his team at Shidim in the Ahafo region. A member of Parliament for Esutufi North, Ebenezer Kwekuado, is alleged to have incited the mob and obstructed the Nimos team, and he has subsequently been invited to assist with ongoing investigation. Preliminary investigations also indicates that on Saturday, the 1st of November 2025, the Nimos director and his team intercepted illegal miners operating near Broni Krom in the Ahafo region and arrested several suspects. A mob of about 600 people allegedly incited by the MP later besieged the Shidim police station, demanding the release of the miners and seizing vehicles. And the crowd vandalized the director's vehicle, damaged part of the police station, and threatened to set it ablaze. Reinforcements from the Ahafo Regional Police Command were deployed to restore calm and order and prevent further destruction. And you're seeing pictures and videos as well roll out on the screens this afternoon. And we're going to go and speak to the PRO of Nimos, Pakwesi Shandoff. We get the indication he's not there just as yet for us to get those details from him. But Dr. Nanaya Wakwada is with the Bureau of Public Safety. He's joining us right now this afternoon as well for a quick conversation in relation to this particular matter. But before we engage him, let's speak to Pakwesi Shandoff, who I understand has joined us via the phone lines right now. Talk to us as to what the understanding is in relation to what transpired between this operation and the results which has played out in the last 48 hours.
Really was extremely and profoundly disappointing, because the soldiers, the Nimos team, were basically there to ensure a crackdown. And so it was a huge surprise that the locals got agitated, demanding for the release of the persons who have been arrested. And then in the process, they then began to accost and attack the Nimos team. In fact, when the incident happened yesterday, having spoken to the Director of Operations of Nimos, he indicated to me that he survived clearly by the mercy of God. Because if we look at the intensity of the anger and how that they were very much charged, he and the rest of the team would have lost their lives. That is the plainest way to put it. And so we are wondering, the question that for me as an individual has been on my mind is, why would the youth, the young people in that particular enclave, protest against the military Nimos coming around to, as it were, end illegal mining in that particular area? But What we have also discovered, and what is currently being investigated, is that it appears there are certain individuals who actually are the masterminds behind it. Otherwise, I mean, Aisha, let's try to rationalize this. If a Nimos task force has come to an area, in fact, that was not even their primary destination. They were on their way back to Accra, and then they saw the mining, happening along the road. Then they decided to stop, intercept the process, and then end it. Why should this be a cause of agitation? What we are learning, although inconclusive, is that apparently there are certain kingpins who are sponsoring this, and so investigations have commenced accordingly, and in due time we'll be able to identify the persons who actually instigated and facilitated this very risky and fatal development. Clearly, from what happened yesterday, the briefing that I received from the Director of Operations of Nimos, it is abundantly clear that if we are going to deal with illegal mining and do away with some of these developments, the locals must be sensitized, number one, and especially not just the locals by way of the residents, but the local authorities must also up their game.
Sparkwesi Shandoff speaking there, and we know I mentioned that the Bureau of Public Safety has been issuing a statement, and we'll speak to Nanayo Akwada, but we just want to walk you through quick pointers in relation to what it is they've been demanding of authorities, and then we can go to them with the latest in terms of development as we've got from the Ghana Police Service as well. And so of the many things they were demanding, as at this morning, it included the immediate arrest and interrogation of the MP alleged to have been involved in this full-scale investigation by the Ghana Police Service with support from the Ghana Armed Forces, and also protective measures for Nimos officers, soldiers and witnesses, parliamentary inquiry to determine disciplinary or criminal sanctions if the MP is found to have interfered with law enforcement operations, strengthening of operational security protocols for all anti-illegal mining task force. And so this is the demand from Nimos. We've seen that statement that's come through from the Ghana Police Service, which says that the headquarters of the CID has been tasked to take over this investigation and look into the matter. As well, the Member of Parliament who has been named in this particular subject matter, we understand, has been invited by the Ghana Police Service to assist in investigations. Let's take this to Dr. Nanayo Akwada quickly for a bit of a conversation. Mr. Akwada, I appreciate you speaking to us and joining us this afternoon as well. So we've just got that release as well from the police, which says that of the many things, the headquarters of the CID has taken over investigations. They provide a brief background as to what happened as well. But most importantly, the MP alleged to have incited all of this has been invited to assist with investigations. That surfaces in terms of the immediate first steps which should be carried out in beginning to unravel what we played out over the weekend.
Good afternoon to your viewers, and I would like to, before I comment on that, I would like to commend, the district police station and the district police director for a great, demonstration of policing. I mean, I watched the footage, and anyone who watches the footage could actually feel the intensity of the crowd and then the charged atmosphere. But I think that the way the police team, navigated this course and averted, a potential, bloodshed is worthy of commendation. And when the dust is settled, I will be expecting the police department to, recognize these police officers who did such a great protective job. And also I want to commend the military and the Nimos members involved in this unfortunate incident. I think that the whole of Ghana does off its heart for them. They are doing a great job. The fact that they had to do, take a detour to complete a very important task like this shows how determined and dedicated they are. And I think that this morning, I am confident that, their efforts will pay off, and they need our support to make these efforts actually pay off. Now, the action of the Ghana Police Service, inviting the MP for questioning. Suffices for me. But I think that from per the story, some people have been released. I am thinking that the national security should get involved, locate all these persons. My understanding, my intelligence points to a non-citizen involved in this. Locate all of these people with immediate effect and bring them, into its bosom for prosecution. What happened on Saturday is shameful, it's most regrettable, it's very dangerous. It could have resulted in a lot of loss of lives of people. And also, it is a test of our resolve to ensure that Galamsey is rooted out from our body politics, as soon as possible.
Right.
And so this incident provides us with that opportunity to prove how serious we are about Galamsey, to prove that we are not going to let anyone off the hook, regardless of their status in society. And which is why I think that within the next few hours, this MP should be in the bosom of the police for investigation. And if it requires that they get permission or authorization from, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament to keep this MP in the bosom of the law enforcement agencies for investigations, that must be done. We must not let anyone off the hook. Consistent with the broken windows theory, this must not be ignored. And as a Bureau of Public Safety, what we have been saying time and again is that if we allow Galamsey to linger on, very soon it's going to be an armed group. We are going to have to deal with them like a terror group, and it's going to be more difficult. So this is the opportunity for us as a nation to descend heavily on persons who are, behind the windows, encouraging young men, youth to go into this area, and that they use their status as a shield for persons who are dealing a very devastating blow to our environment, increasing our health, our debt burden on health as a state, and also destroying the livelihoods of people. So this must not be ignored. And all 5 of our demands that we have made, we expect that it will be, acceded to as soon as possible. We must not only do justice, but justice must be swift. We must be swift so that the word will go out there that, look, we are serious about this fight, and we are not going to let anyone off the hook, no matter your status in society.
And I hear you on the swift action. There are foreign elements which, for a while, we've known have had a hand in terms of the activities of illegal mining, which continues to plague the state. To the extent that from the report, it suggests that this foreign element could have been part of the reason for the inciting of the crowd, amongst many other things. We haven't got word from the police in this release that anybody has been picked up outside of the fact that the Nimos team was protected and taken away. The individuals who were arrested by the Nimos team, even which resulted in the incitement of the people as well. We haven't got word of them being picked up again. Should we be getting updates on that front, even as the MP is being invited and other respective persons within the development as has happened in the last few hours?
Absolutely, which is why I have said that, look, we must escalate this to the level of national security so that nobody, gets out of our borders. We get everybody roped in. If it means within the next 24 hours publishing the images of these individuals as wanted persons so that the public could assist in bringing all these perpetrators to book. Look, it's a serious issue we are dealing with. If you watch the video, the footage circulating, and you don't get the import of how serious this thing is, then I'm sorry for our country. The next incident that gets closer to this is going to be a bloodshed, and that is when these guys will begin to arm to the teeth. Okay? We don't want persons who are applying in Galamsey to arm themselves in this manner. So we must send the signal there strongly. Let us publish the images of these influential persons publish the images of the members or the leaders of these youth who, helped in, intervening or stopping law enforcement agencies from carrying out their lawful duties, just as it was done in the January 6th riot in the USA. The FBI went out there using the footage, publishing images of individuals who were participants of these of such actions, and then they brought them to book one by one and swiftly so. We must do that and make sure that as we do it, we are keeping the public updated. We have arrested the 10th person, we have arrested the 11th person, we have arrested the 30th person, so that the signal is out there that you cannot hide behind mobs to be doing some of these things, and that we are serious as a nation about rooting out galamsey. And I think that if we approach it in this manner and we do this swiftly, the key word is swiftly, we do this swiftly, we will send the signal out there.
And I appreciate the mention. I appreciate the mention of swiftly, considering how everything has played out. Is there an acceptable timeline or a time frame through which we should be getting updates from the police with respect to this? And also the silence of Nimos, some say, is concerning. They should have been providing updates as well on the back of the development vis-a-vis the ongoing updates from the police.
Look, I have, number one, I think that swiftly, within 24 hours to 36 hours, the police should be putting out images of wanted persons out there. We need them to do that for both substance and form. We need them to do this so that people will system. And then secondly, for Nimos, I mean, listening to what happened on Saturday, I am very confident in Nimos. And I think that by now they are doing, a post-mortem analysis of whatever happened. And they will re-strategize and retool and change their modus operandi. I mean, when they get into such escalations, they will know what to do. But my brother, we must commend the Nimos officers and the police for doing a great job. Elsewhere, they would have deployed firepower and it would have been bad news this morning. So we must commend them, especially for us as a Bureau of Public Safety, where we have always descended heavily on the police. I think that the work they did last Saturday was really, really to international level. It was really a class act that we need to identify the district commander and everyone involved in making sure that they gave the Nimos officers a safe pass without a single shred of assault on a citizen.
I appreciate you providing these thoughts for us. That's Nana Akwada speaking to us this afternoon on the latest. The police says investigations underway. They are inviting the Member of Parliament at the center of this to assist with investigations, and most certainly will follow up and bring details.
Well, in the meantime, rice farmers in Somanya in the eastern region say the influx of foreign rice is undercutting their sales and making their business less competitive. They made this known when members of Parliament on the Environment, Science and Technology Committee, together with the Climate Change Caucus, visited some farms to learn firsthand the impact of climate change on their production.
In domestic rice production, Ghana spends more than $500 million annually on rice imports. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Grain and Feed Annual 2025 report projects that Ghana's rice import will reach 1 million metric tons in the 2025-2026 season, covering more than half of national demand. Currently, thousands of metric tons of paddy and milled rice remain unsold in storehouses across rice-growing regions from the 2024 season. Farmers are also unable to harvest this season's crop due to a lack of funds to rent harvesters, leaving several acres of rice still standing in the fields. This is the trouble of rice farmers in Adelakope in Somenya.
The situation here is the same. It is our customers that delayed, and our whole thing also gone delayed. So as I harvested now, no buyer, and I can't get enough money. It means I'm not able to do it this season.
That is
Well, Charles Nyaba is a farmer and is the spokesperson for the rice producers, rice millers and maize farmers of Ghana. He's also the immediate past executive director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Doc, good afternoon to you. I appreciate your time with us. This is a situation that has existed for a long time now. The competition, foreign rice, unfair competition, so to speak, that foreign rice gives local production. Why have we failed to nip it in the bud?
Thanks so much. And then let me also thank you and your team. I think we've been in this battle together for a very long time. I think that either should I say government or government appointees' failure to always implement what they say is what brought us where we are today. Why would we even import rice when farmers are given assurance that they have capacity to produce to meet the gap of what we import? Simply because some few people, should I put it a greedy people, if it's a harsh language, a greedy people don't want the system to work for farmers to be able to produce enough to feed this country. Last year, what Ghana plan document stated that we were able to produce 1.3 million metric tons of rice. Meanwhile, the domestic consumption is 1.4 million metric tons of rice. So it means that it's even less than 100,000 metric tons. The same document projected that this year, the local production is expected to hit 1.5 million metric tons. So which means that we would have actually met me to meet that. But if the same government now allow people without proper importation document to bring in this rice through illegal borders, and some of the rice that they are actually bringing in, some are expired, they bring it in and then rebag it in the popular brand that we all know. Making it very difficult for the local farmers to be able to compete.
Well, so Doc, let's take with the issue. Let's take with the issue that directly concerns local production. In the immediate term, what can government do to clear off the glut we're seeing in Somanya? What are your recommendations?
So what we are recommending is that the rice is good, it's quality. Farmers are willing to sell at whatever price. But the problem is the flooding of the market with the imported ones. So we are saying that during this festive season, every household in Ghana consume at least some amount of rice. So why don't government quickly come in, ensure that we block in the rice that are coming in, those who are importing, legal importers, you increase the tax. Once you increase the tax and the price are par with the local rice, block in the expired rice that they are bringing through the illegal rice, we'll be able to sell. Within the next 6 months, we'll be able to clear the glut. In going forward, what government then need to do to assess our local capacity and then only allow the gap to be imported. Whilst doing that, we are also addressing the challenges, production challenges, processing challenges, marketing challenges, taste challenges. Once you do that over time, we might not actually need government intervention and we'll continue to be able to produce enough for this country.
We know that this year there has been directives to the buffer stock company to buy off some of these grains that are in season and do not have ready markets for sales. What has happened since that directive was given? What has been the working relationship between the buffer stock company and you, rice and other grain producers?
So I think that's where the other problem comes from. When we started this campaign, we heard from the government spokespersons, we heard from the National Food Buffer Stock that 100 million Ghana cedis was released for purchasing of rice and maize. There is no part of this country where we don't have members in. We tried to inquire. Actually, I personally took data. No single member in our platform and farmer associations who are part of this campaign are able to confirm that in their community, they saw people coming to buy rice or maize from them. So we are calling them that if you say you release this much for people to come and buy, can you give us their contacts so that we also sell our rice to them? They've not been able to give contact of any aggregator that they claim they engage to come and buy the produce from us. So it's actually worrying. And this attitude has been going on for some time now, where government will say, okay, they've released this amount to do this. We will only get reports that this has been delivered. But when you come to the actual delivery, the actual purchasing and procurement, you are not able to find out from the farmers they bought from. Okay, so it means it is the same. I mean, it's justifiable.
I see.
For me to say that it is the same people who go and buy this produce from the importers and rather put it in the market, but they don't buy it from the farmers. So the challenge that we have.
I see. Doc, what's your expectation of the parliamentary committee that is making rounds to familiarize itself, particularly with, how climate change is impacting the agric sector? What would you expect them to do once their tour is over?
Is it related to the climate change or the rice story?
It is indeed.
Hello? Please, I can't hear you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I'm saying that in terms of climate change and impact on agricultural productivity, we have presented a couple of proposals. One, the major climate change variability that affects farming a lot has to do with the rainfall pattern. And this pattern is changing because of the approach we use in farming, the way we are destroying our farmlands with insecticides, herbicides, the way we are cutting down trees, how we allow galamseyers to destroy the forest. All this, and we know these are the factors that bring in rains. Trees and forests are key determinants of the rainfall. So if you destroy all, obviously the rains pattern will also be affected. So what they need to do is to tackle it from that angle. Responsible mining is one of the things that they need to look at. Responsible cutting down of trees, responsible application of agrochemicals and pesticides.
Very well, Doc.
What they need to consider, and creation of more irrigation facilities.
Indeed, I'm afraid we'll have to end our conversation here. That's all we have time for, Doc. But I appreciate your time with us this afternoon. Dr. Charles Nyaba is the immediate past executive of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. You're here on News Central. We'll take our very first break. When we come back, this is what to expect. Uneasy calm in parts of Nkawkaw in the Kwewu West municipality of the region after an altercation between two youth groups that resulted in the death of one person. We have all the details when we return.
Why are more and more professionals choosing Flamingo paint?
As an interior decorator, I aim for that beautiful, elegant look. Flamingo paint has great hiding ability to cover and transform old walls easily with just one coat.
Impressive. For me, as a professional painter, I love Flamingo paints because with this small paints, I paint huge area, meaning more profit for me. Great value for money.
As an architect,
And you're back here on News Central. Let's bring you some other stories, taking you to the heart of the Ashanti region, Menchia to be precise, because the final funeral rites of the late high-life icon Charles Kojofosu, popularly known as Daddy Lumba, continues to take dramatic twists and turns. The invocation of the Asantehene's great oath, locally known as Ntamkese, has now cast uncertainty over the set date for the musician's final funeral rites. And guess what? The first hearing was held today at the Menchia Palace. William Evans Inkum was there for us. Let's get a bit more from him with respect to what it is that played out. William, can you begin to help us understand this Ntamkese and how we came to become a part of this ongoing dispute between the family and then the first wife, amongst others?
Well, so Mawuena, one will evoke the Ntamkese for two reasons. One, to seek justice, and then the second one has to also know the truth or get to the bottom of the matter. These factors call for the evocation of the Ntamkese. So, and the Tunapusu, who is the elder sister of the late high-life icon, Lumba, invoked the Otumfuo Ntamkese, or the great oath, sacred great oath of Otumfuo last Friday, because she was not enthused about the time of events as far as Lumba's final funeral rite is concerned. And the reason why Menchia sat on the matter this morning, as early as 8, the parties have converged at the Samanhene's palace. The Samanhene traditionally is the landlord of the Menchia Palace, and he is sitting as the chair of the Traditional Judicial Council as far as the Otumfuo Ntamkese on this particular matter is concerned. So this morning, the chiefs sat, headed by Samanhene, sat on the matter, and they have advised the family to compromise. I mean, ensure that they are able to resolve the issue among themselves. If that is not done, or if they fail to do that, then the case will enter into, in the conventional court, we call the case management, where prima facie will have to be established, but this time around the traditional prima facie will have to be established, and the necessary rituals will also be performed before the case is finally heard at the Menchia Palace, where some chiefs, which of course will be appointed by or nominated by the Santehene, will sit on the matter, and if that happens, then certainly we'll be in for the long haul.
And how much time have they been given to arrive at this truce or this compromise you talk of? And what as well has been the reaction of the family to this decision by Menchia?
Well, so they have up to Thursday to be able to settle the matter internally and amicably before they face the Samanhene and then of course the other chiefs on Friday. So Friday is not a day for them to be arguing, but a day for them to actually appear before the Traditional Judicial Council and perhaps tell them that we've been able to iron out our differences and we are ready to work together. Otherwise, then the process will have to be followed through. Like I said, that will mean that some sheep will have to be slaughtered to pacify the gods. As far as the traditional rites is concerned, then case management will also proceed thereof.
Talk to us about the mood when the respective parties made their way to Menchia today. We know this continues to pique a lot of interest. First off, whether there was a crowd gathering wanting to be a part of the process, and for the respective parties when they came to, how they looked as well.
Well, so there were a closer number of people around, but they were controlled. For instance, no media personnel or blogger was allowed to enter the chief's palace. So that one was followed through. Then, of course, for the family, now I can say fielding party. Well, before meeting the Judicial Council, you could see that difference. But after that particular meeting, for instance, for the first time, I saw an Etinapusi or a Kia, a Pusia Benfoma, hugging or hug the Abusiapeni, the family head, Kofi Usu. There is something that we haven't seen for a very long time, ever since the case, their issue entered in the pool of litigation. This is the very first time we are seeing them, openly engaged in that kind of friendly act. Well, the assumption is that maybe they are finding their way to an amicable resolution as far as this particular impasse is concerned.
Right then, Evans, thank you very much for those details. That's Evan Sinkum, is my colleague in the Ashanti region for us. We'll get a bit more subsequently.
Founding member of the NPP, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklu, has criticized the 63 minority members of parliament who have declared their support for former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia ahead of the party's presidential primary in 2026. He says that step alone will completely shatter the NPP. He spoke to Beatrice Edu.
And believe me, first I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it for the simple reason this is something we've never done it before as a political party. And then secondly, the party is already fractured. So what is going to happen after this will be total fragmentation of the party. I say this because each member who came out to support that particular, idea, and declaring himself for that particular contestant is coming from a constituency. Has he consulted the constituency and the constituency has agreed that he can go to that extent? Or he's doing that by his own thinking? And I can assure them, if they have contacted the constituencies, they might be shocked what results they will get. So if they have not contacted the constituencies, then they are rather doing harm to the person they have come out to support.
Which is the former Vice President,
Who is the former Vice President, Bawumia.
A number of them feel that as individuals and citizens of the country, they have the right, of course, members of the party as well, they have the right to declare support for anybody that they feel is good for, not just for the party, but also has the potential of leading the country.
Look, politics is an interesting game. I didn't study politics, but at least I've got a head that can learn, see ears to that can hear politics as really it is. And I have always followed our predecessors. This could never have happened under the leadership of B.J. Darocha. Now, firstly, what they have set in motion is complete destruction of the party.
Why do you say so?
It's as simple as that. Just as I said earlier.
Yes, you said the party is already divided.
Yes, I'm going to explain why I said so. As I said, each and every member in parliament is representing a constituency. Have they consulted the various constituencies on that particular subject? And if they have, is that what the constituency members or the constituency chairman or even the members in general told them that this is what they should do? That's the first question.
Well, now, the raised China City Mall in Kumasi has been pulled down as recommended by the Ghana National Fire Service following the weak nature of the structure. The move comes just days after a ferocious fire swept through the mall, reducing a vibrant center of commerce to ashes. Let's connect now with our Ashanti region correspondent, Ibrahim Abubakar. Ibrahim, what more can you tell us about the aftermath of the inferno?
I can tell you that the demolition is still ongoing, as you can see at the background. And this is the remains of the once vibrant commercial hub here in Kumasi. And this is being done after a structural integrity assessment by the Ghana National Fire Service, who declared the building as a clear and present danger to public safety, and thus it is necessitating this immediate demolition. In fact, the demolition was supposed to even have been done on Friday, but the fire service authority had to intervene. They said they had to take some sample as part of their investigation before they allowed the entire structure to be cleared down. They are done with that part, and now they are trying to clear all the debris for possible rebuilding. But even with the rebuilding, the National Disaster Management officials say they will not just allow them to start with the rebuilding effort, but there are a lot of safety measures that they will have to put in place before they do it. Mind you, when the incident happened, access to fire hydrants was a major challenge here. Cars had to go and come to be able to douse the flame. And they are saying that the building regulations, at least there should have been a fire hydrant or even water hydrant here, so that when the fire service vehicle comes, it can directly tap into those systems to be able to fight the fire. So they said they will ensure that all those systems are put in place before they allow for any rebuilding effort. So for now, I suggest the work of scrap dealers and taking bits and pieces of the items, but I can tell you that the Ghana National Fire Service say they have taken whatever they need to take from this area, and that the investigation is ongoing, and very soon they will come out with recommendation to allow them to go ahead with their rebuilding.
Indeed, Ibrahim, for clarity, is the fire service saying that prior to the fire, the building itself was not certified?
Well, it was certified. It has extinguishers and everything. So it was fire safety, or it has some elements of fire safety, but it wasn't enough, because usually they recommend the building of fire hydrants in some of these areas or these large commercial, so that in an event of fire, and when the vehicle comes here or the tender comes, there wouldn't be the need for the tender to go back when the water in its finished. So it will just tap directly to the hydrant and be able to access water to be able to fight it. And that was what was missing here. And they also believe that not only this facility, but they have also observed that most commercial buildings are not taking fire safety measures serious because of the funds that it requires. They are not investing in those aspects, and it has been part of their recommendation for some period, just that people are not adhering to it. So they are just hoping that city authorities, before they issue permits for rebuilding, they must also ensure that all these things are in place before they allow for the building to even stand or even be used as commercial buildings.
I see, Ibrahim. Have we had word from the owners of this facility?
Well, they are here. They've still not spoken. For them, what is gone is gone. They are just looking ahead, possibly rebuilding effort. But they are not officially. They are not talking to the media. But for information we picked from city authorities and even Ghana National Fire, we interacted with them. They said, well, it has happened, and for that matter, they are looking at what they can do to bring the business back, because we have hundreds of Ghanaians also working here, and as we speak, they have temporarily lost their livelihood, and until the business comes back, they will be out of job for a while. So that's how come they are all still possible. And the Kumasi mayor has also given that assurance that government will also meet them halfway, support them in a way that they can return to business.
Thank you very much for the reporting. Ibrahim Abubakar, our Ashanti region correspondent.
Now, there is an easy calm in parts of Nkawkaw in the West Municipality of the Eastern Region following an altercation between between two youth groups that resulted in a knife attack and the death of one person. Police have managed to restore calm in the area. However, there are growing fears of possible reprisals among rival gangs. Yvonne Nikwe is my colleague following this story for us. Let's get a bit more from her in terms of what it is that's played out. Yvonne, what more can you tell us in terms of a background to the story and how the Security Council is handling the situation there?
20 hours of Sunday, two persons, all youth, had a bit of conflict. Exactly what brought out that conflict, we are yet to know. But we do know that in the process of they themselves resolving that issue, there were knife attacks on both sides. This is because the Holy Family Hospital that confirmed the death of the deceased and the wound they saw on the victim, confirmed what they saw was a knife attack. Now, moving forward, the other victim, the second person, was taken to the hospital for medical care. The youth, as it were, wanted to have a revenge, more attacks on him. And so yesterday, we saw them enter the hospital trying to have access to the emergency office, attacking security officers and some medical personnel. It took reinforcement from the Nkawkaw police to be able to settle the matter and help them from getting access to the victim there. We do know that as we speak, the Seoul West Municipal Health Director has confirmed that the victim has been referred to us, and so that matter has been solved. But again, because there are two gangs in this particular matter, from suburbs which are known as ghettos in that particular district, it means that we might have a final attack on our hands. Already, we're seeing pictures of unconfirmed pictures on social media already about the second disease. We cannot confirm that. The police is yet to actually make a statement on that. But again, we're hoping that as the hours travel by, we will see them coming up to make official engagements for the media. The Seoul West Municipal Chief Executive, Kemini Amanor, have been speaking to. He says that they are working on it. I get the impression that they're having engagement with stakeholders, keys, local authorities, to engage heads of these youth groups who are in this particular matter to ensure that they are resolving the matter amicably, because when such incident happens, what we say is that the youth do not rest until they get the heart of the matter up and well. This particular issue is not just about Seoul West municipality. We're seeing unrest in several parts of the Eastern region. Last week, it was about chieftaincy issue involving youth who were spearheading and then resulting in the death of one life. Today, we are seeing the issue pan out in Seoul West, which about just them having a misunderstanding. Many of these youth have had issues of people claiming issues of unemployment, issues of mental health issues, and peer influence. It means that we'll want to see the Ministry of Youth and other agencies coming to see how best they could help youth out of this issue. Already, while dealing with youth engaged in the use of opioids that we have not had solutions to.
Whether or not there will be sustained presence over the concern of reprisal, whether the police is continuing to be stationed in the town, just briefly.
From yesterday, we saw the police manage the incident at the hospital and then the community as well. This morning, I know that because of the discussion they're having with the municipal chief executive, and they themselves are part of Bruce, they're around the suburb of that area, ensuring that even the youth gangs and by extension, the families that are having some kind of fear do not have that, but they're able to resolve the process amicably.
That's Yvonne Nikwe is my colleague in the Nkawkaw township, following through with details for us. Now, two personnel of the Ghana Immigration Service have been shot at Nagani in the Timpani district of the Upper East region. The attack, which sources within the Regional Police Command have confirmed, occurred late Sunday night when the officers were returning from night duty on a motorbike. According to the sources, the attackers laid an ambush and opened fire on the unsuspecting officers. The officers sustained life-threatening injuries and were transported to the Upper East Regional Hospital in Bolgatanga, where they are currently receiving medical care. And the Immigration Service is yet to issue an official statement on the incident, but sources say an investigation has commenced. We can get few details from Castro Senyala right now, just before we run out of the studio. Castro, what more details have emerged regarding the motive, possibly, of these suspects?
Mawuena, information regarding this attack is currently very scanty. I have been trying to speak to sources both within the police and the immigration service for more details, but it appears that because the incident happened last night, the state security agencies are still gathering information. But what we understand is that the officers were just returning back from a duty post, going back to base when the attack happened. There hasn't been any information whatsoever beyond this. But we also understand is that the two officers are currently at the regional hospital in Bolgatanga, where one of them is currently battling for his life because she was shot so badly. We also understand, as we speak, a team of military and immigration service officers are currently on ground at Nagoni, where the incident happened, and are combing vigorously to see how best they can bring the perpetrators to book. I want to mind you, after the attack, we understand that one rifle belonging to one of the immigration officers was allegedly taken by the attackers. And so the security agencies, especially the immigration service and the military, aren't letting that slide, and including the police as well. They aren't letting that slide, and currently are very hot in coming to ensure that they bring the perpetrators to book first of all, and also to ensure that this rifle and other guns that are with these attackers are retrieved.
And just quickly on the health status of these officials, what do we know?
Yes, like I stated earlier on, we understand that the two officers are currently at the Upper East Regional Hospital in Bolgatanga, and one of them is really going through a lot in terms of fighting for his life, because we understand that he was badly shot in his abdomen, and that alone is putting his life at risk. We understand that the other one is currently stable, and I got the information just a few minutes ago that the immigration service is not taking this that lightly, as a lot of officers are around the hospital to ensure that these two are able to make it through this tough time of years. We also understand that investigations have commenced vigorously, and no stone is left unturned as far as bringing the perpetrators to justice.
Castro, thank you. Thank you for those details. That's my colleague Castro Senyala with details there for us.
Now, for years, the community of Ajepra faced a daily crisis: no safe drinking water and rampant open defecation. This reality meant long walks for contaminated water and a constant battle with waterborne diseases. But now that struggle has been flushed away.
Intervention. Residents, particularly women and children, trekked long hours to fetch water from unreliable and contaminated sources. Also, with no toilets, the bushes were the only option, leading to frequent outbreaks of sanitation-related diseases. But the community is now celebrating the commissioning of a mechanized borehole and 20-seater toilet facility projects, officially handed over by the Ejare family.
And then you go politics and wako no de wako which them crowd better with the chitim neda and we na banner I hope say a beboy kasa.
You see any son for me. A many peppy and ya rapey. Enti commodity ma ya kama and to you and asuma or didn't you ya bedome ya misran a beboy peppy and one free yarim and I feel so a beboy ma ya juma.
Former CEO of the Environmental Protection Agency, Kobena Kokofu, emphasized that access to clean water and sanitation is not a privilege, but a fundamental human right.
Sanitation is quite an important aspect of human life, and as settlements or communities, we cannot do away without these facilities. So now that government is providing, now that individuals are coming up also to provide, it is incumbent on us as citizens within the community or community members to embrace these facilities with kind heart, open mind, use them judiciously, and ensure that maintenance is adhered to.
The intervention is expected to eradicate open defecation and provide a reliable source of potable water, directly tackling the prevalence of waterborne diseases.
And that's our bulletin this afternoon.
Yes.
From our studios here on the John Hammond Street, I am Mawuena Egbeta.
And I am Kemini Amanor. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Next is the afternoon show. Bye-bye.